I'm certainly dreaming of a Jason Stockwell White Christmas. Team Stockwell Real Estate, yeah!
Welcome back to the Stockwell Eldridge Show.
With every Christmas con that I ride.
I'm Jason Stockwell. And I, just so you know, full disclosure, did not even request Christopher. He volunteered, and I really appreciate it. It's great. I think I might actually invite him over for Christmas.
Yeah.
To sing
We're going to
during-
fade
How
out
about,
now.
can we get
Sing
like
carols?
some sleigh bells ringing, the Wells Fargo Percherons pulling the stagecoach?
And
Yeah,
so
Stagecoach,
Through the
Wells
snow.
Fargo, White Christmas, yeah.
we're wishing everybody happy holidays and hopefully a white Christmas is what we're hoping for as well. So
I'm okay
we have
with
John
it being
Zeman,
wrong.
Vanquish AP here, property management, rental, full service. Nate Nelson, Mesley and Kramer, tax and business attorney. Basically, any questions you have about setting up businesses, taxes, and things like that. And Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo. And one thing I wanted to mention that I remember is that over Thanksgiving, so there's a show 2 hours later than us here on Sunday, 12 noon, with two realtors, I believe, from Coldwell Banker. Great guys. They have a business in West St. Paul called the Rack Shack Barbecue. I listened to the Patriot on Sunday, listened to our show, and I listened afterwards sometimes. I heard them talking about what they do for Thanksgiving is they have these turkeys. You just go online, you buy one, you pick it up on Thanksgiving Day. I told my wife about it. She said, it's brilliant. Let's try it because it's a headache and we get up early and we never know if the turkey's done right and too dry or too not done and salmonella and all this stuff, right? So we got two turkeys from the Rack Shack, had them at Thanksgiving, and the reviews from the people, I mean, the best.
So you tell them, like, okay, I want a
ever
20-pound turkey, and then you just order it, and you go there on Thanksgiving morning.
It's
you
already
pick up
done
the
in a
20-pound
pan, warm. You throw it in the oven at 165 degrees until you eat it. It's amazing.
Oh, it's already-
falls
it's-
off the bone.
Okay.
It is so good.
Awesome.
So I got to give a shout out to those guys, as my buddy Ryan O'Neill would say. Give a shout out to Rack Shack and those guys if you ever are up for that. I know they do something as well similar for Christmas, but I think they maybe incorporate some other brisket and stuff like that. So really, really good outfit that they run over there. So I want to give a shout out to them.
Awesome.
And
Good to
thank
know.
you to them. They were great. And the other thing that we want to get into and touch base on is how are you affected or are you affected at all by what Nate Nelson said before is the Trump policy. I know so many people are affected by just Trump getting elected. So you see a lot of people fighting that or kind of coming to terms with that. And I was thinking about this the other night. So it's tough for people, right? If your person didn't win, right? So people didn't want Obama to win, and they were frustrated, right? The same thing goes on this election. So you have winner and a loser. Same thing when you go to a Super Bowl game or you go to any sporting event or whatever. But here's what you got to think about. I look at it this way. Here's how I look at it. If you have an actor or a director, or you have people that are on TV and they're doing these things, and in the script there's something that calls for them to say something that's on the edge that may offend people, or comedians, let's say, for example, right? They're going to say something that's going to offend people, right? Do you hold hostility and hatred towards them for offending you when they're playing a role or acting out a role individually? Now, I would ask that you look at Trump and say, okay, in the election process, he's basically an actor, folks. He was doing and saying the things that were in the script to get to him enough attention to get elected, and it's going to offend people. Now, do you hold that, what he said, in his acting role, essentially, of getting elected, and some of it was acting, you have to admit, it wasn't all going to be, what he says true.
He's a Democrat,
So just think about that. Do you get angry at the directors and the actors the way you would at Trump? Just treat him as an actor in that respect. Not to say that some of the things that he's doing right now or some of the people he's appointing don't jive with you, but the same thing happened on the flip side when Obama was elected and he appointed people that people didn't like. It all will balance out. It'll check out, and then we got to move forward and move past this and hopefully have the great things happen that we want, that people want to have happen, good, that can help everybody, hopefully. That's the goal. I know Obama, the same thing, wanted to help everybody. Different philosophies to help everybody, so we got to give each of them their chance. Obama had his chance, let's give Trump his chance.
Well, and like you said, too, there are those executive orders that, he can make those decisions solely on his own. But for the most part, it's going to, be in his cabinet. But yeah, I mean, I read this. I thought I saw it online, and then The Economist brought it up yesterday that he has always been a Democrat, and he has registered or I don't know.
Well, here's that I look at it too is that
So-
everybody's like, oh, but he said this. Well, yeah, he said, but that.
Yeah, he had to do what he had to do to win.
It doesn't
right?
necessarily. I mean, I don't
Actually-
know. I mean, I don't focus so much on words. I focus more on action. That's why when people get frustrated with Obama because he says great things, but then you look at his actions. So there's two types of people. I think people that pay attention to the words and really take heart to the words, and then don't really care about the actions that follow. And then there's people that don't care about the words. All they look at is the actions, and that's where and that's what I think is the difference. Between
And
the
Jason,
two.
that's a great way to characterize it. The way I just heard it and prepared for talking about this a little bit today is I think Trump's dissenters took him literally, but they didn't take him seriously, and Trump supporters took him seriously, but they didn't take him literally. An
Yes.
example,
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
An example would be he's in his hotel room. He looks on CNN and he sees the burning flags in North Dakota. Well, he immediately says, "Oh my goodness, those people should be put in jail." Well, you can't put someone in jail just directly as a president, anyways, much less for burning a flag. And there's a whole bunch of constitutional protections. But I think what he did is he got his message out to some people that at least he loves
tweeted it
America.
out.
And
How about giving companies large tax breaks? He's offered that to, was it?
Well, that is part of his plan. I mean, that is something.
But a president can't do that, right? It's got to be. If he's going to give it a
State,
tax
right?
rate, it's legislative.
The governors.
so-
I think that's the carrier deal.
Is
you're
a
talking
fe- is
about.
a-
Yeah, the carrier deal is
Right.
what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yes, yeah. So, or was that just kind of political, like to try to? I mean,
Take a look at who again, I'm not trying to be a Trump supporter or defender or anything along those lines, but I think that what's going to be so different when you have someone so bombastic as him, he goes by the smell test, he goes by his gut, he says things that many people think, and then where does it meet out? What that's going to do is when he pushes his agenda through, he's going to actually have more of a tailwind, despite the popular vote. He's going to have more of a populist agenda on that, and I think the tried and true 30-year congressperson is going to have to think, oh, I'm a Republican, I do this, or I'm Democrat, I do that. That's going to be off the table.
He's off the because I saw I don't know if, and again Facebook, who knows with the fake news out there.
It's all fake news.
But I saw on
Yeah.
Facebook that he met with Al Sharpton, Leonardo DiCaprio. He's meeting with
Al Gore. He met
Al
with Al
Gore,
Gore.
right? I mean, so
Yep.
if these
No,
are true,
his daughter Ivanka did.
He's actually meeting.
what was it,
with
his daughter?
Oh, okay. Well, either way, to even bring people to the table that were so adamantly against you, I think is good. And
Right.
you take Romney, even, who said tons of bad things about him, and actually have a strongly consideration for Secretary of State. So either he is just like, what are those birds that? Those beautiful birds that puff their feathers, but they don't do anything.
Peacocks?
Peacocks. Either he's just doing that, like beating his chest, or and then in reality, it's all just for the show, and then in reality, he's actually going to be more level-headed. I don't know. That's what we hope for. But anyway, that's my. I just want to give my 2 cents on thoughts on that, so that you can hopefully we can get past the hate part, and just realize that yes, words do hurt and can hurt. However, it was part of an act. I would contest that it was part of an act to get to the point where he had to win the election, and it doesn't necessarily mean exactly how he would feel. Now,
Well,
but I don't know him personally, so I don't know. But
So, Nate, what do you think with respect to the Trump administration? Some of the tax advantages for home ownership, like the first-time home buyer tax credit, home ownership. I forget what it's called. It's a tax credit per year. Do you think those things are pretty safe?
I think we're going to
Hard to
see his guiding light is going to be what's the best deal for America, and if he believes in home ownership, I think we're going to find that. But a lot of persons are saying right now we're going to see the first major tax reform since 1986.
Okay.
So from there, I think it's just a matter of what's he going to do? Once he does it, when's it going to be effective, and is it going to get through? The point that you made earlier, Chris.
Well, there are the new law, like when people pay private mortgage insurance.
Yes.
That will no longer be a tax deduction. So we're going to probably
that's
see.
one of the proposals. Yeah,
No, it's actually going into
it
effect.
is going into effect.
He's going to lower the income rates, but he's going to take away itemized deductions. But he'll also get rid of the Obama 3.8 tax too.
Right. But there's things like in regards to housing and so forth. Again, we'll probably see more resurgence of home equity lines. So people might do a 20% down mortgage and then do a home equity so they can avoid private mortgage insurance. so that because that's no longer going to be a tax deduction.
So what I'm hearing from this is that we're still going to get taxed. We're going to still have to pay taxes, probably still a pretty significant amount. Not necessarily, we're not talking it's going to go down by 80% or anything like that. However, the business tax I think is a big one because that we want businesses which will bring jobs and it'll get that going here. That's what I think is probably going to happen. Right, Nate, or not?
Oh, no, I think what you're saying. Because
we're going to be lowering our tax rates, but not by dramatic amounts. But when you cross that little bit across millions of people, it has a dramatic effect. Is what you right?
Right. I think you're going to find. I just would respectfully disagree. I think the tax rate cut will have a big effect on every person
because it will happen.
Because it happens to
by
you proper
millions of people.
personally.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Let's at your check.
Yeah,
I like that. Well, there's two things that are certain in life, right? Death and taxes.
Yes, but less of both would be better, right?
Christmas card, I write.
All right, we'll be back with more. Thanks for
Christmas
listening,
card
folks.
I write. They better have from Jason Stockwell team, realtor involved. Oh yeah, the stocking stuffer. Well,